It was back in 1995 that then Calauan Mayor Antonio Sanchez was convicted in the rape-slay case of UPLB students Eileen Sarmenta and Alan Gomez. Almost 3 decades later, not a single cent of the over 12 million peso indemnity has been paid. Sanchez's common-law wife insists the Sarmenta and Gomez families are not entitled to it.
Lagi po namin sinasabi, laging paulit-ulit po namin sinasabi, bakit po kami magbabayad? Wala naman pong kasalanan ng aking asawa.
Opo.
Yung sinasabi po nilang araw, pecha na sinabi ni rape si Eileen at pinatay si Alan Sarmenta, Alan Gomez, nasa amin po ang asawa ko.
Senator Franklin Drilon says the Justice Department must enjoin the Sanchezes to pay damages, especially since it was in the court decision. But Justice Secretary Bernardo Guevara says it is up to the private prosecutor to pursue the indemnity. Problem is, the payment of indemnity has already lapsed the prescriptive period. Mrs. Sanchez also admitted to meeting Bureau of Corrections Chief Nicanor Faeldon last August 21 after receiving a text from a known number.
Ngayon sabi nga niya sa akin, na-hold nga daw yung papapabas kasi nga ako, nagkaroon siya ng bagong direktiba na ang lalabas ay first in, first out. Ay sabi niya, kung qualified si Mayor, within 2 months, makakalabas siya.
Senators asked her who sent the text, but Mrs. Sanchez said she does not have the sender's number anymore.
Actually nga po, kanina lang wala na po akong cellphone.
Ano?
Kasi kanina lang po, kasi nung
kanina lang na nawala ang cellphone mo?
Hindi po nawala. Binasa ko po, tinanggal ko po ang SIM card. Kasi pag-gising ko kanina, after nung hearing na to, ang dami ho nag-text na sa akin. May mga death threat na ho kami. Kaya ang ginawa ko, siyempre, at burst of my emotion, ay, tanggalin ko na lang itong SIM card ko. Tanggal na lang ako ng cellphone.
But the lawmakers were not convinced, and so they told Mrs. Sanchez to leave them her personal number so they may trace the sender. It was also revealed in the hearing that Faeldon signed the memorandum for release of Sanchez on the day his wife received the text message. But he said he recalled the memo, although verbally. On the second day of the Good Conduct Time Allowance System hearing, Senator Panfilo Lacson said he finds the statements of Bureau of Corrections Chief Nicanor Faeldon confusing and inconsistent. Faeldon had insisted that he was against the pending release of convicted rapist murderer Antonio Sanchez. If so, Lacson says Faeldon should have not signed the release memo in the first place.
At the time I signed it, but I cannot...
Well, there's some inconsistency here because you know, if I were in your position, ako naging chief PNP ako, pag hindi ako naniniwala, I will not sign.
Asked if it was on his own initiative to recall his order to release Sanchez.
After I signed it, even the documents are complete, I continue to ponder what is my legal basis to stop it.
Kasi kung ganito, nag-sign ako, no? And then naisip ko, mukhang mali. I'll just crumple the paper and throw it in the, or shred it. But for me to sign and then recall, mukhang hindi yata, it doesn't make sense to me.
Faeldon says he was simply following Republic Act 10592, which recomputes the GCTA of prisoners. But Lacson wouldn't budge. He believes that the Bucor chief was not telling the truth.
Maliwanag yan, narinig nyo lahat, di ba? At meron siyang interview noong August 20 or August 21 na nagbibilay. This is sinasabi niya kanina.
For News 5, Ria Fernandez, We Are One News.
While both houses conduct its separate probe on the Good Conduct Time Allowance Law or Republic Act 10592, some senators are already moving for the repeal of the law. Senate President Tito Soto and Senators Panfilo Lacson and Richard Gordon filed Senate Bill 993, which seeks to repeal the amendments made to the GCTA law in 2013. Lawmakers say the law has been subject to abuse by the agencies granting time allowances. But Senator Risa Ontiveros thinks the existing GCTA law only needs some revisions to prevent GCTAs from being sold to underserving and unqualified inmates. Ontiveros proposed amendments in the prison rules violations. Ontiveros says, I immediately noticed that the list of violations were not clustered by severity. Therefore, Sanchez's offense of smuggling drugs inside a statue of the Virgin Mary will only have the same effect as willful waste of food.